Hello, Bashar. My name is Meerte. I am from Rotterdam in the Netherlands. And I have a question about Sekhmet, who's been very relevant to me in the past few years. And in Egypt, she was also called Weret Hekau, which means great of magic. And I'd like to ask you, who is she, and in what reality or dimension does she exist, and what is the purpose of her interaction with us or our interaction with her? My idea is that she is related to topics of shamanism and shapeshifting. And regarding those two topics, you've explained that we can raise our own frequency by letting go of fear-based beliefs or beliefs that are not relevant to us. You've explained about the shells of the earth and how different beings can exist in their dimensions, which we can actually access when we raise our own frequency. But then there's also the idea of actually being able to change form, like shape-shifting, or changing location, like teleportation. And I'm very curious how these things relate to each other, whether shape-shifting and teleportation are also related to shifting frequencies, and how that would work, if that depends on changing belief systems in the moment, or if or if that's something else. I would love to hear about this from you. Thank you so much, Bashar.
No, it's exactly that. It's all about resonance. It's all about frequency. Now, you've encapsulated many different questions into your so-called single question. Sekhmet does represent the understanding of magic and shape-shifting and the connecting to different parallel realities and changing of frequencies to allow that to occur. It is also representative of an ancient Anunnaki being. At the same time, it functions as an archetypal energy that has remained within the collective consciousness of your planet, that does in fact have to do with the power of the sacred feminine in reaching out with the senses into different parallel realities and gathering together those understandings that will allow for transformation and changing of function and shape. Good day, good day.
Hello, Bashar. I'm so excited to be here.
All right, thank you.
I had a question about a past experience I had.
Yes.
And it was during the time when I had a lot of fear and anxiety. And so I started to connect more like with my higher self and do meditations.
All right. Intuitively, that is the correct direction to have gone in.
Thank you. So I woke up one early morning feeling paralyzed, and I started to hear like a melody, a dial tone. And I saw like this pink liquid. And then I felt this intense vibration on my throat chakra, like something was being pulled. And I started to see like these three beings. They were kind of transparent, and they had like, the big eyes and the big head.
Yes.
But once that happened, I became so fearful, it just completely stopped.
Yes, but you can get used to this, knowing that it's your choice too to experience this, because you're part of the agenda that allows you to know that you exist between two worlds.
Yes. And afterwards, I just started to see a lot of vibrant colors. I started to do things I never thought I could again.
Yes, you'd been upgraded vibrationally. You'd been aligned vibrationally.
So I was wondering, like, who these beings were. What kind of connection do I have with them?
Do you understand the hybridization agenda?
Sort of, yes.
All right. Well, they were quasi-gray beings, but in a slightly altered state, in between your reality and theirs, which is where they brought you. As we often say, many of these encounters happen in a slightly altered vibrational reality other than what you consider to be your physical reality. It still has traits of physicalness, but it's not your particular dimension. Many people are brought there because it's easier to help align people vibrationally in that particular state. So they understood that you needed some alignment. They were willing to help with that because you're part and parcel of their particular project as well.
Okay. So would that mean I would have hybrid children?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is there a way I could connect with them more?
Yes. Use your imagination. When you think of the idea of hybrid children, how do you feel?
Nurturing.
All right. Then anytime you go into a meditative state and allow yourself to express that nurturing energy, that can form a stronger connection for you to any of them.
Okay. Yeah. I'm definitely going to do that.
All right.
I also had a question when I do like these Reiki sessions or Akashic records. I usually get these visualizations of like other beings, and my clients sometimes feel them, like, that there's more people in the room.
Yes.
So I was wondering, are they part of that, like to do the sessions?
They're there to help.
Mm-hmm.
They're there to help. You're tapping into your resources. You're bringing them to bear to help you do what it is you do, because it's part of your project too. So you will never, in that sense, be alone when you're doing those things, because you have asked them to be of assistance by providing their energy, by providing an environment and an atmosphere that can be of help to others when they are immersed in those vibrations.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Also, we've been seeing more activity like around my apartment when I use certain like smoky quartz crystals or clear out my apartment.
Yes. Well, it's organization, it's clarifying, it's allowing you to use permission slips that give you more opportunity to align yourself, to clarify yourself, which expands your senses and allows you to experience more things that were heretofore invisible to you, that will become visible to you over time.
Oh, okay. So just continue doing that and it would just happen more frequently.
Yes, because you're training your senses to perceive beyond the physical. There are things around all of you all the time that you just don't see. But when you expand your consciousness, when you practice living in your true state of being more and more, then your senses go along for the ride, and they are capable of stretching out to experience things that were heretofore invisible to you. You bring more things into the realm of your senses' capabilities of perceiving.
Okay. Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
I know, that's why I said it.
Yes. I also wanted to ask whether it's like, guilt or any type of emotion that gets stuck in the body.
Nonsense. Nonsense. Nothing gets stuck in the body. You stick it there by your belief systems, by holding on to it because you believe you need to, for some reason, because you believe the alternative would be worse. As we just explained, the idea of guilt is self-judgment when you experience an alignment to tell you that you've been out of alignment. But why wallow in the self-judgment and continue to perpetuate the idea of guilt and shame instead of learning the lesson that the feeling you're calling guilt is simply a rush of alignment energy to let you know that you've been out of alignment, and then give you the opportunity to take responsibility for having made the choice to go out of alignment by bringing yourself back into alignment, making the choice to go back into alignment with your true vibration instead of continuing to be in the negative state by continuing to wallow in the guilt and the shame. You're not learning the lesson if that's what you do.
Yeah. Yes, that's a good way to see it, actually.
Yes, guilt is just a barometer to let you know how misaligned you might be with your true self. So why heap more negative judgment on top of it by assuming that something is wrong with you, by continuing to judge yourself instead of going, oh, I'm feeling that rush of alignment energy that I'm experiencing as the idea of guilt to let me know that I'm simply out of alignment. I will now go toward responsibility by having the ability to respond to that rush of alignment in a positive way by simply using it as an indicator that I've been out of alignment. Now, how can I bring myself back into alignment? Simple.
You're right. It is simple. I just overthink it all the time.
Yes. That's why it's so important to clarify your definitions about your relationships to these experiences so you can use them in more positive ways instead of perpetuating the negative experience.
Yes. I've also noticed that a lot of people, channelers are starting to like change their beliefs on what they were doing.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to question my own self. So like, I am wondering like why those things happen. Like, is it the fear base of like,
Well, it depends on the person. It depends on their path. It depends on what they need to learn. Why not question yourself?
Yeah.
Always check to make sure that you're making choices based on the idea of integrity and alignment with your true vibration. It's very important to know why you choose to do what you do. So investigate why you're making the choices that you're making. And then you will be in a state where you can always guide yourself correctly.
Very true. Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
I know.
Thank you so much, Bashar.
You are welcome.
Really
It is our
appreciate it.
passion and our pleasure.
Hello, Bashar. My name is Corey, and I'm from New York. The question I have for you is, would you be able to bring some clarity upon how we can literally perceive other parallel realities? I fully understand it intuitively. I've experienced it, and I've really ingrained it in my reality, and it's become a knowing. The issue I'm having is that I find it difficult to be able to explain the mechanics behind how I can actually perceive someone else's parallel reality and then be able to define it as not my own. If you can bring some more clarity upon that subject, again, around like the mechanics of how we can actually see it and then say it's not our own, that would be of great benefit to myself and a lot of other people that watch your content. So thank you so much, Bashar. Aveo.
You do this all the time when you write things like science fiction novels. You create worlds from your imaginations that in many ways actually are representative of parallel realities that are not your own. So it entails imagination and communication with the higher mind that can see many different parallel realities simultaneously, and drawing down that information in ways that you present to your public as science fiction or simple fiction. The idea of actually experiencing parallel realities is that when you do experience it, it does become your own, because you're shifting through billions of parallel realities all the time anyway to create what you think is your unique timeline. So your unique timeline is actually constructed of many different parallel realities that become your own. But the idea of perceiving one that you know isn't yours really is simply called fiction in your world. Good day.
Good day, Bashar. Good to be with you on this day. So happy. This is
All right. All right. And you as well.
Yes. I have a question. You once spoke about how the Bible had a lot of the stories of Atlantis. And I was wondering if you could potentially elaborate a little bit on which part of that.
The flood.
Yeah.
The flood is the story of the destruction of Atlantis.
Okay, the flood, primarily.
Yes, because the asteroidal or cometary body that slammed into what you call the Atlantic Ocean created great tsunamis that wiped out Atlantis, but also affected many other parts of the nearby land masses, such as your North and Central South America, your Africa, Mediterranean, and European coastlines, and Middle Eastern. So therefore, the idea of the story of the flood is a racial memory of the destruction caused by the tsunamis from that impact in your ocean.
Awesome. And how many ancient cultures were given the information of the things from that time to our prehistory of the precession of the equinox and the coming of the golden age?
Given by Atlantean survivors, you mean?
Yes.
Well, Egypt obviously was given information. Many places in Europe were. The British Isles were given a lot of that information. Some information was also spread back into the North, Central, and South American continents. And the idea of it stretching all the way into your Asiatic continents, the buildings of certain structures, such as pyramids around your world, and so on and so forth, certain kinds of temples that align with the idea of stellar phenomenology, are in general representative of some of the ancient knowledge that the survivors of Atlantis spread around the world to help people understand that these things do happen, that these cycles can reoccur, and to prevent such destruction from happening again if possible.
Excellent. And are these beings, did they achieve immortality?
Are you talking about Atlanteans?
The Atlantean priesthood?
Physical immortality? No.
No. Okay.
No.
Got it. So, but in spirit, those beings are still connected very strongly to the Earth sphere.
Of course. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them have gone on to other things. But it will always remain as part of them, because any experience always remains as a part of you, no matter what state you're in, physical or non-physical. It's a part of who you are.
That's beautiful. And I have a question about the Ark of the Covenant in the same proportions of the coffer and the Great Pyramid. Were those the same dimensions?
There are relationships between them. They're not absolutely the same dimensions, but there are similarities in ratios that work in both of them.
Got it. Because you once talked about the coffer and the Great Pyramid being a certain dimension with the granite, so you could...
Yes. So it's more about the idea of resonant ratios than it is actual physical dimensions. It's more like scaling something up or down, but making sure that they still contain the same energetic ratios.
Okay, cool. And they were used for different purposes.
Yes, it can be.
Yes, well, the Ark of the Covenant was more of a step-down transformer of energy for what?
For a variety of purposes, yes. For communication, for energy release, for providing certain kinds of vibrational states, different applications for different needs at different times. It could be adjusted.
Okay. Is it true that, like in the movie we have of Indiana Jones, where the Ark of the Covenant was talked about how it could be used for malicious purposes as well, or purposes in the wrong hands?
It could. It could. Again, like any device, like any equipment, it can be used for positive or negative reasons.
Yes. Was this a standard part of technology in the Atlantean civilization that was given to Egypt?
Again, the basic premises were understood in Atlantis, but it wasn't exactly used in the same way. It's all about resonance. It's all about frequency. It's all about ratios and proportions and relations between them. So the basic concepts were understood, but they weren't used quite in the same way.
Okay, how would they be used different?
In Atlantean times, the vibrational resonances that existed in the Ark were used for the propagation of light and energy.
Okay, because this had to do with more of their crystal technology in those days?
Yes.
Okay, very cool. And an important question I have to ask, which is going around a lot right now in the New Agey community, is this big shift of integrity and people working through all sorts of different things. Yes. But I feel a huge misunderstanding in the New Agey community is people misunderstanding the idea of right and wrong, how you speak about it.
Yes.
Because I know you are talking about positive energy and negative energy.
Yes.
But people will take these things of right and wrong and, create kind of a not clear life of having a grounded moral compass.
Yes, of course. There is alignment and there is misalignment. And many people will have misunderstandings and misinterpretations of many of the concepts that we have discussed with all of you, because they are not necessarily as practiced as they could be and not necessarily as refined in their understanding of these concepts. In a sense, I'm going to put it in an old kind of colloquial way. Again, not meaning to be negative per se, but you'll understand it through this simple mnemonic. Many people know just enough metaphysics to be dangerous.
Yes.
When they arrive at a certain point of understanding, they think they know enough. They think they know it all. And therefore, a lot of their applications are misguided. They don't take the time to go more deeply into their understanding of how things actually work. and therefore they can be misled and be misleading to others and misinterpret many different kinds of things. So again, it's about either really truly being clear and having a deep understanding, a clear understanding of how things work, or not. But again, it's up to each individual to decide for themselves what they do and don't align with, and that's part of the experience and part of the process. So it also helps us determine who actually is ready and is not ready for contact. So that's okay.
Yes. And I have a lot of born again Christian friends,
Yes.
you know, that that were from the New Age, and found Jesus and everything,
Yes.
and now they cast everything aside that is not Jesus. So everything is.
Then they don't actually understand Jesus,
Mm.
because there have been many misinterpretations and misrepresentations and misunderstandings about what Jesus actually said and what he was all about, because a lot of the dialogue that came from him and others around him have been altered for the purposes of political power and certain kinds of gain, and therefore you don't really have an absolutely thoroughly accurate representation of what was really said at the time. Plus, in not understanding Jesus in the full capacity of his expression, then many people who purport to understand him or purport to believe in him actually have no understanding of the fact that he was presenting both a male and a female aspect in the Mary of the Magdalene. This is a couple. This is a male and female representation in balance, and many of the things that were actually talked about are extremely metaphysical and not exactly what the idea of the Christian belief system purports to be true.
Mm. Got it. So more, this is hard for me to ask, but more, okay, so more like how you've said the Magdalena things and more of the Essenian stuff and the Rosicrucian stuff is a little more coordinated.
Even there are misinterpretations in those. It is more the pure idea of the understanding of the balance between male and female in the expression of Yeshua and Maria, or Miriam the Magdalene.
So more just the simplicity of harmony between the sexes.
Yes.
Okay.
And the idea of the understanding of both sides' connection in balance to all that is, and the expressions thereof, many of which are very familiar now to those who have listened to metaphysical concepts in your modern age. A lot of what was expressed that can be found in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene are actually very metaphysical concepts as you would recognize them in your modern age. Remember, she was his chief disciple.
Yes. Beautiful. So very, very simple. It almost connects to just yin and yang and the basics of proportion.
There is a book that exists on your planet that may be of assistance to you in understanding some of this. And it is a book that is called When God Had a Wife. Investigate that, and it will give you a lot of information about more accurate representations of the positions of male and female energy throughout your history. Much of it is not what you think because of what has been made of it and what has been left out and what has been corrupted.
When God
Had a Wife.
Beautiful. Yes, I will look into that. Thank you, Bashar.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bashar. You helped me so much today. I truly appreciate you.
It is our passion and our pleasure and our deep appreciation to